Where is Kate Middleton? Well, apparently she's been spotted at a farm shop in Windsor after watching her 3 children playing sport amid speculation online about her health. Well, joining me right now is royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams. Good afternoon to you, Richard. It's interesting. A happy and healthy Kate was spotted out and about for the first time since surgery. We've seen pictures of her, obviously, this posed photograph. There's been all this furore about, which she apparently was the one who edited. We've also seen her on TMZ in America, a shot of her in a car being driven by her mother. But apparently she was out at her favourite farm shop, looking, onlookers said, happy, relaxed and healthy on the visit just a mile from her home in Windsor on Saturday. What's interesting, though, is there are no photos. There are photographs in the papers and online, some of them from this farm, but they're actually a year old. They're not actually of Kate, which makes you wonder that no one had a phone there and no one thought of taking a photograph of her, which is unfortunately what she's had to deal with a lot of the time. Do you have any concerns about her health and how the palace is handling all of this? Because surely, after all this furore, she could just pose for a photograph and get it all over and done with today.
Well, I most certainly have had concerns about the way all this has been handled. I mean, we go back just a week and the news had only just broken that photograph, charming photograph, which was put on Instagram to celebrate Mothering Sunday. And then, of course, no less than, well, eventually 5 photo agencies refused to disseminate it or withdrew it. So, I mean, obviously this has been something of a crisis, and obviously the way it's been handled, and especially in editing, when you, for example, haven't got your engagement ring and wedding ring, and there's been all sorts of material online that we don't need to go into here. But I mean, it's a very difficult time. She's been seriously ill and she's been recuperating. I'm only absolutely delighted that apparently, and certainly according to that photograph, my initial response was she looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
you're
but
right.
let's. I want to move on from that. My God, we discussed that ad nauseum last week. But this is the thing: all that furore over that, all of that issue, and they're still talking about her. You know, she's still recovering and she's not back in the public eye. Now, I've never had any issue with the poor woman, which has obviously had a serious operation, needs recuperation time. Leave her alone. People saying to me, leave her. Never criticised her for that. I wouldn't wish being in a royal family on my worst enemy. All of that scrutiny. People are allowed to have a health ailment and be left on their own. But there's been talk at the weekend that she will talk openly about her health issues. But it's interesting that suddenly today there has been a spotting on Saturday, but there are no photographs. Wouldn't it just be easier for the palace, given how badly this has all been handled, for them to just do a quick interview with her, have a little photo that is clearly, new and taken by Press Association or someone?
No, I agree. I mean, one of the problems for all this, and you would have been over it a week ago, but I mean, the fact that 2.5 months since Christmas, there was no sighting. This was one of the difficulties. Certainly, I think it would have been an idea because I am surprised there are no photographs because we're all potential paparazzi now with our iPhones, as you know. And I mean, it would be a good idea. We saw a flash on last Monday in Datchet when she was in the car with Prince William. But yes, I mean, I would have thought as soon as possible. One of the problems is there was a lot of concern, and particularly when Prince William pulled out of King Constantine's memorial service, and of course he was going to read the lesson. King Constantine was his godfather. You cited a personal matter, and then you had a positive tsunami. I mean, I'm not suggesting that policy should be done, far from it, because of crazy comments of one sort or another that we've got online. But in fact, of course, as you know, this has been worldwide news and taken very seriously, the issues of credibility and trust with reference to those photographs.
Those are
I'm
serious
delighted.
issues. But the point is, this was like, it's a forced fault, and then they've been unable to get back on the front foot. Now, look, online conspiracy theories about everything to do with Kate's health, King Charles's health, that Kate and William's marriage, you name it. Horrible, nasty stuff, nasty speculation. We've no idea, where these rumours start, where they stop and things. But the point is, the palace needs to be in control of it. Now, we know they work very closely with, the royal editors and royal correspondents and editors of national newspapers, because there's this sort of quid pro quo. We'll give you a picture of us on the day of our ski holiday, and then you leave us alone for the rest of it and things like that. But they can't do a deal with social media. They can't do a deal with people who run websites, random websites here and there, or indeed with individuals posting on Facebook or Twitter. That's going to be a problem in the future, isn't it?
Oh, it's a perpetual problem. I mean, you've got, take Twitter. It pretends there's some censorship. As far as I can see, it's none at all. And you get the vilest and most gruesome theories. And it's news instantly throughout the world. I mean, there is no real way around this other than the balance between, on the one hand, you want to be open as the king is when he's conducting royal duties, but not royal engagements, because he's unable to, of course, because of cancer. But then there's absolutely no doubt you need this balance. You've got to have privacy on the one hand, because, of course, as you pointed out, she is entitled to privacy, absolutely. But on the other hand, you need a certain amount of openness so that people who are genuinely fond of her, for example, concerned about what's going on,
and that balance is really hard to get. It would certainly appear right now. Richard Fitzwilliams, thank you so much. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams, thank you. Still with me is Sam Armstrong. Look, you do PR. That's what you do. You handle sort of political PR. But the royal family is political PR. What would you do if you were them?
Well, right now, I think Kate has to come out. We have to see her. I appreciate that's difficult. I appreciate they never want to respond. They never want to react. But this vacuum is dangerous. And, of course, into the midst of that, what do we have so helpfully? Our good friends from California deciding to monetize their royal connections once more.
The Duchess of Sussex's Instagram comeback to promote her latest business venture, a lifestyle brand called, I think these words have just been chosen randomly, American Riviera Orchard. What a load of abject nonsense.
Well, she's got form in that regard. But, this is the problem, though. If the royal family, and this is the slight difficulty with King Charles' slimmed-down monarchy, if you lose 2-3 members of the family, which is what's happened.
Got anyone left.
You've got no one left.
Yeah.
You can't fill the newspapers. And if you're not telling a story, somebody else is.
And that's the thing, you've got to fill that void. I mean, again, it was bad enough when you suddenly had, 24-hour news, hello, work in that. But then when you've got social media as well, that adds to the pressure. And then, oh, what a surprise, Meghan jumps in, who, by the way, was going to be keeping a distance from social media until there's money in them there hills, and then she is back. But there we are. Always so great to have you on the show. Sam Armstrong, thank you very much. You go back and advise some Tory MPs. Goodness knows that's a hard job. Sadly, we have come to the end of this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do join me same time tomorrow